I have to chuckle when somebody tells me they can't be hypnotized because it happens every time your focus is narrowed and your critical thinking is suspended. In other words, you're in some degree of a trance and therefore less resistant to what's being presented. One of the main areas you can see everyday hypnosis taking place is in the media. It's no secret they excel at manipulating some of their viewers. And as an expert on hypnosis, I can attest that yes, they are indeed using actual hypnotic techniques. Hypnosis is everywhere, and not all of it is good. And the likelihood of your focus being narrowed and your critical thinking being suspended increases when three ingredients are combined. So let's talk about these and their antidotes to protect you from being unfairly influenced. Number 1. Authority. Authorities have the power to influence others due to their recognized or supposed knowledge about something. There are, of course, many forms of authoritative influence in the world, some of which can often go unquestioned. In fact, appeal to authority is what's known as a logical fallacy. It's very popular. This is when a person claims something must be true simply because it's said by a so-called authority, or a biased panel of so-called experts on the subject. But in actuality, it's untrue. Here's some examples. Some time ago, mainstream media regularly ran advertisements for the tobacco industry, featuring statements from medical professionals that helped people feel real good about destroying themselves with carcinogens. You'd be mistaken to assume this was because people weren't as smart as they are now, because IQ levels have been steadily declining since the 1960s. So, what's the antidote to avoid being put in a trance by a so-called authority? Number 2. Plausibility. Plausibility is the quality of something seeming reasonable, probable, or valuable to you, though in actuality you really don't know for sure. And if you have rapport with whoever presents plausible suggestions to you, you tend to accept those suggestions more unquestioningly. An example of this is when you don't bother researching the information presented to you by a so-called expert because it appears worthy of belief. And if you can throw the word science around, oh man, that makes it even better. Instant trance. So propaganda like this is more likely to be accepted if you're in an undiscerning trance. Hey, smoke up, it's science. So what is the antidote to avoid going into a trance when presented with plausible information? Number 3. Feeling. Follow your heart and bring your mind along too. Feeling, of course, refers to an emotion state, or a reaction, or a vague, often irrational belief. Often, the stronger the feeling, the less your critical thinking will be engaged. Now, don't you feel all safe and protected just knowing more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette? So what's the antidote to keep from being pulled by your negative emotions into some unhelpful trance? And remember, all over America, more scientists and educators smoke Kent with the Micronite filter. Come on, you're not anti-science, are you?